So welcome to the Art Working Group meeting, the second meeting for June. We have 3 topics in the agenda this time. And maybe let's directly jump to the first one. Johan,
Yep.
I guess, yeah.
That was from me. Yeah, so as part of our cost saving efforts, we are triggering the validation and release pipeline only once per day. And if I can quickly share my screen.
Yes.
No, you have to unshare for a moment.
All right, I will stop. I share.
So this is the cost overview for our only GCP for our working group per month. And you see in June, of course, there are a few days left, but you see there is quite a notable decrease in cost for June. 4.28K for compute engine, and before it was around 6K. So that seems to work fine. And well, yes, it was little effort, and so no one complained.
And this is because only of this change of,
I would
I
say
guess.
so. We have not changed anything else, right?
Yes. Yeah, we didn't have changed anything else.
Yeah, so the only change is that this pipeline runs exactly once per day. And yeah, we could do the same for Noble for this sub pipeline, the Noble stem cell validation and the IPv6 validation. Do you think it makes sense?
Yes, definitely it makes sense. We don't need to run it more than once per day.
Okay.
So that's a good idea to configure that also
okay,
for
cool.
these 2
Then
pipelines.
I would do the apply the same changes to these 2 pipelines. Then yeah, we can squeeze a little bit more. Am I still sharing?
All right, super.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
So now.
Okay. Let me share.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Okay, and that's the next topic is, I guess, again from you, Johan, related to the
should
CAPCI.
maybe add my name. Yes, so in the ARI working group in the cloud controller pipeline, we had one long-lived environment, so one CF deployment that is long-lived and not deleted. And that means you also have to deal with expiring CF certificates. And to automate the rotation, we had a 3-step CF certificate rotation pipeline. So we basically implemented what the CRETAP documentation says, how to rotate CA certificates and their signed certificates. And well, this is now not needed anymore because we've converted the environment to a short-lived environment, again for cost saving. Nevertheless, if you look at the implementation, yeah, the documentation, there is somewhere, yeah, go down, rotate steps. I think if you check that one, no, yeah, not that, it's just a task. The best script.
The task.
So here you see this is a little bit of CRETAP magic, and it might be worth preserving this code if anyone has, not necessarily in our groups, but maybe someone else has a long-running CF deployment and wants to have wants to avoid expiring certificates, he could use this. And One idea is we move this as a concourse task to the CF deployment concourse tasks project, where we collect all kinds of tasks. However, knowing that right now no one will immediately adopt it. Yeah, but we could say here's a solution for long-running CF deployments if you want to have automatic rotation. So what's your opinion?
I think that it is not. It is good to save this as an implementation. So sooner or later, it could be useful for someone. So it's a good idea to have it in our project.
Okay, good.
Because yeah, it is already implemented and it was a working solution, and there is no need to reinvent this logic in the future if needed. So
okay, then I would transfer this to the CDCT project as a new concourse task and write a short announcement in our channel. However, if no one adopts this, then yeah, okay, we have some dead code, which is also not too very nice,
yes,
but
yeah, this one looks quite useful.
Yeah. An alternative could be to, let's say, just mark it in the README file and point to this commit.
Would
Then
also
it's
be an
not lost
idea.
because I agree you won't find this anymore, right? Or
yes,
after some time. But yeah.
Or both of them.
Or both of them.
Both of them, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the pull request would not be deleted, right? But yeah, in which README would we put this?
Good question.
Yeah.
We could even put it into the README of KPCI if it's.
Yeah, okay, good, but yeah, this is also quite hidden. So
it is also quite hidden. Indeed,
any external user will not search in this.
I mean, move the code over also doesn't harm, even if it's not tested. And
okay, good. Then we move it over, and okay, I mean,
yes,
in CTCT, that's what the project was meant for, and hopefully it helps anyone. Or maybe we need it again if cost saving is over and we have a long living environment for whatever reason.
Yeah, we have to increase the cost so that we have again
to increase the cost. Yeah,
something for the next round. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the next one is related to the IPv6 implementation. Here, there's one PR from Milena.
Yes, maybe I can give more information here. So after a discussion with Alex, he decided that, I mean, it was his first idea of implementation, but anyhow, we didn't manage to understand each other. So yeah, I needed to rewrite the logic here. What was different? Actually, before in the old implementation, we had apps. Within all of the apps, we are reaching these public endpoints and we are getting the IP they are returning and checking against whether this is an IPv6 or IPv4. And based on the case we are testing, we are outputting something like IPv6 validation for dual stack is successful or not. The main difference here now is we don't compare this output. All of the testing logic is done in the Go code. Maybe I can share to be more.
Yes, I will stop share.
You see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, the difference here is that here there a lot of code removed, but maybe it will be. So the paths we are testing are the same. I mean, what the app will do will reach to the concrete, every app will reach to the concrete endpoint that it is testing, and the hitting this endpoint will produce not a string representation of whether this is successful or not, but will output an IP. And we will check within the Go code whether this IP is from the correct type. And just let me go to the part where we actually test this. So yeah, this part I wasn't sure about Go because I'm not a professor in Go, but there is only 2.4 and 2.16, but 2.16 will not give us the exact answer whether this is an IPv6 or not. And the only way I can imagine to test this is because we are parsing here the IP. I mean, this function will give us an answer whether this is a correct IP or not. And if this is a correct IP, we are checking if in case of an IPv4, whether this is not null, and then checking again whether this is an IPv4, but in case of IPv6, this should be null. I mean, this will output us with in any case the parsed IP will be valid, but when we check against 2.4, this will in this case will give us an IPv4. I mean, will give us not null result, and in this case will give a null result. And in dual stack case, it shouldn't be null either way. So this is the main logic here. I was Googling how this is done in other repositories, and it was mainly used this approach. So I used it too. I mean, to check with Go whether this is an IPv6 or IPv4.
Seems to be the recommended way.
Yeah. I mean, because in some languages there is an exact function that check whether this is an IPv6, but in Go this was the approach that I found. So yeah, and after we check against this, I wrote it a new function in the, maybe it will be easier to find it from here. This new helper functions, because we didn't have a function that was giving us body and the HTTP response. I mean, the HTTP code. So I just rewrite this function to, maybe it will be easier to show it like that. But yeah, curl with status code. This will actually will give this some additional sets to the curl, and will provide us with the HTTP code too. And within the acceptance test, we split the response, I mean the IP address and the status code, in two parts. And first part we validate the IPv6 as I showed here, and the second part we validate the status code. I tested the logic, it's working. whether if it is the best logic, I'm not sure, but this is what I got. So yeah, this is the change in the implementation, but it gets a bit clearer with this approach, because now we validate every stack without additional changes and everything. It is much clearer. I mean, when listing all of the assets. And yeah, I think we used this logic for all of the stacks. I tested it. It worked. I mean, worked without, on IPv6 it is failing because we don't have such, and without IPv6 it is working fine.
In the current scenario, it is working, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And, it seems to be ready for merge. Is it approved?
There were
Yeah.
a lot of changes within every application and within the Go code. I mean, Alex took a look and he says that it looked okay. Johan saw a major mistake of mine that I didn't apply this function which was belonging to helper test within the helper test, but within the acceptance test. So
Yeah.
I corrected this one. And maybe if some of us have time to give it a second or four to look. But yeah, from my side.
Okay, I'll also try to review. How many pull requests are open now for cats?
Just this one, I think.
It's only this one now. Okay.
Yeah. I closed the other ones because.
Yeah, okay.
Here, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. I will try to review. Yes. Yeah, and yeah, you needed some changes in the CF test helpers project, which is a different project. And yeah, I noticed that Carson was taking care of that one, creating releases from time to time. So this is now also up to us. Here we would maybe need a small documentation.
How to cut new releases?
Yes, for CF test helpers, it's not rocket science, but there is a dedicated pipeline. There are jobs, ship it minor, ship it major, and you have to create a GitHub release on manually. But yeah, someone should do this.
Maybe we should add this as a backlog item for some of the sprints.
Yeah.
I will make a note. Okay. Anything else to discuss? Okay.
No, not from my side.
Maybe regarding the cost saving initiative, we can think about if there's anything else to improve from our side. Can
we can move our bubble environments to a cheaper region. That could be the next step.
The same you did in the copy.
Yes. So
okay.
Yeah.
Also, if we can cut some of our bubble environments, not sure.
Somewhat?
Like some of the bubble environments, if are not needed. For example, not sure these dev environments or
They are powered down.
it's
Unless
yeah,
someone forgot
actually they are
them.
done.
Yeah, we
They are
have
not
one
longer
dev
running.
environment which I use from time to time, but I shut it down always. Yeah, so don't know if you want to create a backlog item, replacing the Europe regions with US East something region, and then you have to destroy bubble and bubble up again. Should be rather straightforward, but may take some time.
We already have a backlog item, but it is kind of a general backlog item to evaluate and discuss possible improvements.
Okay.
In our working group, so it could be part of this backlog item.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think this would be the next one, and then later we could move our concourse to a cheaper region. But okay, it's just 7 VMs or so, but will save a little amount.
Yes, step by step, little by little, you reach some significant improvement there. Okay. If there is no anything else, thank you all for take part of the working group meeting, and see you in 2 weeks.
See you.
Yep.
Yep.
Bye.